For our first night in London, we were able to book a special after-hours visit of the Tower of London to experience the centuries-old tradition of the Ceremony of the Keys. The ceremony commences exactly at 9:53 p.m. when the Chief Yeoman Wardener begins to lock the main gate for the night. This ceremony has never been cancelled and has only been delayed once due to enemy action during the Second World War.
Across the street, the river runs down in the gutter. Life is slipping away.
We went ashore to meet our guide before boarding a bus to travel to the London side of the river.
Of a helicopter blade. Flames are getting higher.
It's actually extending every year, starting with AD 43, which is the beginning of the port or the city as well, with the Romans, and then just being used only as jumps on his horse and tries to get away. But unfortunately, the witch is chasing him, and she flies right into St. Paul's Cathedral as well. If you have a look to your left hand side, in between the two, I'm not talking about the BT antenna tower, but the one which is on the land side, and St. Catherine's Docks. And also, we're able to see the top of the high-rises of the City of London. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to witness this evening is history, literally, because it is the oldest ceremony that has been going on.
We could feel the excitement building. It was now time for us to enter the tower. From the 1200s to 1835, the Tower of London housed a collection of exotic wild animals never seen before in London. It was known as the Menagerie. The animals were gifts to kings and queens, including lions, elephants, a polar bear, and even a Bengal tiger. The collection grew during Britain's expanding military and trading empire across the globe. Due to concerns over animal welfare, the menagerie permanently closed in 1835. With the setting sun, it's time to enter the Tower of London.
Daily ceremony which has remained virtually unchanged for 700 years. Each night, the Tower of London is locked, and the great keys are marched round the tower under armed escort.
It's time to meet our Yeoman Wardener, Emily.
Welcome to His Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London, a World Heritage Site. My name is Emily. I'm one of the Yeoman Warders here at the Tower of London. I should tell you a little bit more about us as a Yeoman body later on. But first, I'm just going to tell you about our amazing buildings and buildings that you will see here this evening. Some tips, things to look out for. Then we'll come down and join another group. There's quite a lot of you, so there'll be quite a few people on the ceremony this evening, as they did not take kindly to Norman domination. William was looking for somewhere to impress and overawe the citizens of London, and he chose a site just inside the eastern city wall where once an old Roman fort had stood. There are some pieces of the old Roman wall and the old Roman fort around to prove that this was such a site. And it was here in 1078 to take place here. It now takes place outside the King's House. I will show you the building later. As we pass under, you will notice two things. I'll point them out as we do. The first thing is 3 circular holes drilled into the stonework. All of us in this uniform, we all get to live here on site. I live just up my left. So on your right, you will see a tall, narrower archway than the one through which we have just came. So named because of the small white belfry on the top that contains the St Thomas à Becket, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was murdered on the steps of Canterbury Cathedral in 1170 on the orders of his great-grandfather, King Henry II. They'd then be taken through the archway of the Bloody Tower towards the dungeons or cells to await whatever fate had. The front piece. Yeah, I wasn't here at the time, so I was still in the military at that point. So I am
It's 9:53 p.m. Unfortunately, no photography was allowed during the ceremony. The following morning, we took the tender ashore for our tour, Royal Greenwich by foot. We began at the Cutty Sark Museum.
She could do that journey from Shanghai to London a full 11 days quicker than her nearest rival. When she was launched, she was the fastest ship on the planet. So you think, well, maybe why?
We toured the architectural centerpiece of the Royal Navy College. It's flanked by the Chapel of Queen Mary Court on the left and the Painted Hall in King William Court on the right. Here it is, Greenwich Mean Time, the coordinated time scale for the world.
And this is where one of the key defining moments in how an icon Which was an Archbishop of Canterbury that was murdered on the site of the Temple that we're going to go to. Same principle of the light and the shade.
We strolled the streets and shops of Greenwich, toured the Maritime Museum, and stopped for a cup of English tea. The Old Royal Naval College's Painted Hall is also known as Britain's Sistine Chapel. The walls and ceilings are covered in striking images depicting 200 figures, including kings, queens, and mythological creatures. It is truly an extraordinary experience. let's check out the Queen's house, dating back to the era of Henry VIII. We took the tunnel under the River Thames to reach the London side. We're off to a fantastic start on our British Isles Explorer cruise.
We actually have a moment.
Across the street, the river runs down in the gutter. Life is slipping away. Let me still exist in another place, running on the cover of a helicopter plane. Flames are getting higher in efforts, burning down the bridges of my memory.